Hello and welcome. I am so grateful to be here today. I'm going to take a second and start a Facebook Live right now, except for I think I deleted my Facebook app, so maybe I'm not. I went through and deleted a bunch of apps this week or this weekend because, again, there's a lot going on. So this week's topic is all about releasing fear in a time of uncertainty. And that's exactly what we really need to be doing, is releasing fear. And I realize that so much of what is, even like scrolling through Facebook or YouTube, the way YouTube people, creators, make money, for the most part, most of them make money is through capturing your attention with a title, a way to really get you lured in, right? So in order to create space to not do that, I am trying to offer a little bit of a different insight. I'm trying to really help and create ways for people to learn and grow. And I feel like this is a really valuable time to do that. So if you're here and you can go in the chat, say hello so that I can see you and connect with you a little bit better. So there's a lot of aspects going on right now, especially in the way of how fear and uncertainty is actually manifesting and creating space for ourselves. So as we are beginning to see very clearly, there is a distinct group, there's like a distinct aspect of what is happening in our world right now. There's almost multiple groups happening at the same time. And all right, let's see, let me go live real fast in Facebook. There we go. Okay. All right. So there's very distinct groups of individuals happening right now. There is a aspect of, there's an aspect of living in fear, okay? And really like having the physical sensations of fear. The anxiety is running rampant. They're really creating this mindset of overwhelm, okay, of this kind of doomsday aspect. And depending on what you look up, your Facebook feed and your YouTube feed, the news channels are bombarding this fear mechanism. And because humans are so controlled through fear, it's just how we are. We are very controlled through fear. Hey, Krista. So I really want to share how to literally get fear out of the body, especially in uncertainty. So there's a lot of us who have been literally creating lifestyles, and a lot of you are on my Facebook and YouTube. A lot of the people that follow me have literally been creating sustainable lifestyles, literally creating a lifestyle that no matter what happens, they can continue to live. I don't think anybody prepared for this, but at the same time, it happens. Hey, Evie. So there's an aspect of creating more control in your life through empowerment, okay? So I do see these two as very different. I see control in one side of the spectrum, right? It's almost a false sense of security. And then I see taking action steps of empowerment as a very different part of the spectrum. I think a lot of us have generational themes of control, and they don't serve us very well. We end up pushing away those that we love. We end up kind of creating a structure in a world. I am guilty of this, of judgment or opinions, and that's really not what we're trying to do here. We're really trying to create a space of freedom, of empowerment, of self-assuredness, of being okay inside of our own body, despite the fact that nothing really feels okay outside of our body. So there's a term for this in the yoga or meditation circles called being centered. So in this space of being centered, there is peace and clarity and connection. Not connection so much as a superficial connection. And I really feel like we've all been kind of superficially connecting with each other for a long time. And now that we can't even do that, we're realizing how hungry we are for real, true intimacy. So welcome, Timothy and Lacey. I'm glad you guys are here. So as we go through this process of really creating space for ourselves to unravel what it is. So there's a few ways that I go about this. If you know anything about me, I love my plant medicine. And plants have a way of speaking to our bodies without having to actually dig through the shadows or the skeletons, if that makes sense. Hey, Dorothy. So there's another aspect, though, and that's doing the mindset work of it. So I have a multifaceted approach. So if you are dealing with things like anxiety or a mental depression, any sorts of angst going on, if you've got mental things that are coming up to you during this time frame, I would really love for you to reach out so that I can create a plant formula for you specifically. Okay? Now to the mindset part, because the plants are very specific, and I want to be able to get really generalized in this time frame with you. All right. Hello, Amanda and Phyllis, Sherry. Hello. So Krista, yeah, true intimacy. I'm dealing with this right now. I feel like intimacy is something that is so scary and uncertain, right? Intimacy is like the greatest uncertainty because you're literally exposing yourself to somebody else. And it doesn't have to be a sexual thing. So just know that as I'm talking about intimacy, this can very much be intimacy of getting vulnerable, of being willing to share, of being open to exploration. And at the same time, the intimacy always starts with ourselves. There's a lot of aspects coming up for people being kind of stuck in their homes, stuck in their lives, stuck in this space of unknowing. And we don't get to, we're all distracting ourselves with our usual Facebooks and social medias, but the distraction to just go shopping, the distraction to go to a bar, the distraction to go out and eat, the distraction of going to the movie theater, the distractions are not there in a big, big way right now. Hey, Kate, thanks for being here. So there's this aspect of we're having to distract ourselves in very new and unique ways. Hey, Diana, you're on YouTube. I love it. So just so you know, in the Facebook realm, I am on YouTube, and I started a few minutes earlier than this started recording, so you can always go there and watch the full version. So the distractions are amazing at ruining intimacy. Every time, hands down, the distractions will break down intimacy. So I was sharing that I took the past 3 days off of my phone. I literally put my phone on airplane mode, and I put it in a drawer, and I put it away for 3 days. And I kind of freaked out a little bit, just to be honest. I really did. I don't know if you've done this yet during this time frame of put your phones away or gone off Facebook for some time. At first, I was like, wow, I'm kind of bored. I'd like to look up what I usually look up. I was seeing all these plants and I wanted to know what they were right away. And I realized that the instant gratification of even information was a distraction to being present. And this hit me because I love information. I love learning. I look up doctorate studies on plants to find out if the ethnobotanist's use of plants is the same as what they're finding in today's modern science. So I'm a big nerd. I really enjoy like looking up things and researching. And I realize that information is a way that I actually feel more in control. And so getting off of that aspect, I love that. Diana said her son is doing that now. Yeah. I do that once a week, turn it completely off. It's lovely. Oh, good. Krista says that. How are the little ones? Yeah. So my kids, of course, because I have been online so much, with having to go from a business that is usually focused around fairs and events and festivals and farmers markets and very interactive. Sherry, oh, I love it. Yes, we're all learning from each other, right? This is kind of what this is all for. I've been doing a lot of my business virtually. And a virtual business is an amazing thing. I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity to be able to do everything that I do online. And I don't have to go to all of these events. But in turn, my kids end up being online a lot more because I'm in front of the computer and then so are they. So when I decided to do this 3 days off, I included them in the process. And my 8-year-old decided that he didn't like the fact that I was telling him what to do and I was trying to control him because my husband did not take a break from online. He was on his video games and on his phone and things like that. And I learned through many years of marriage that I do not control my husband. I am a separate entity from my husband. And it is not worth trying to tell him what to do, right? But my kids, I had to have a conversation with my 8-year-old, a really real conversation of, Daddy can do what he wants to do as an adult, but because I'm doing this, I want to have them share in it because I believe that social media, the news, while it can be used for connection and for good and for sharing information, it can also create a lot of anxiety and aloneness and feeling not worthy. And so there's both sides, right? I mean, you can have both sides of it. So there's aspects that need to shift and change, and distraction creates that so that we don't have to get intimate. So with my kids for this weekend, since Kate lovingly asked, during the 3 days, my kids and I, we built a hammock fort in the woods on the property that we're staying at right now. And we spent most of our time in the hammocks reading books. We foraged for breakfast one morning. We built a dam in the creek because it got so hot, and we had filled up our rain boots as we were sloshing through the creek and building a dam. And it made me realize that real life, like this physical life that we're living on an everyday without any social media, like literally just sitting out in the wilderness, is boring. Really, really boring. So I'm sitting out my window at some points, like watching the birds. Then like they find a worm. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. They got a worm, But really, that stimulation that we get from like scrolling and the news and from, social media and Instagram and these little highs that we get from ordering on Amazon and all of these things. Hey, Nancy, good morning. There is so much of it that is stimulating us into distraction so that we don't have to connect within, because that is hard to do. So as I took this 3 days, on day 3, I had a breakdown. On day 3, I just sadness so much incredible grief and sadness came up. And I'm an empath. Go ahead and raise your hand and put a little, yep, me too, if you're an empath as well. Because I suddenly, without all the distraction, I got very intimate with the feeling of what the collective feeling was. And I was able to really separate myself and distract myself from it through Facebook and scrolling and, all the distractions, the information, reading, all of this kinds of stuff. And there's an aspect of, I love that, Kate. Yeah, I think so. It's been a long time. So there is, yeah, Kate raised her hand. Thank you. Yes, empath. So a lot of what we're trying to distract from is not just the intimacy of our own feelings, because there's lots there. And if you've been doing work, spiritual work, meditation, yoga, there's something called the Wheel of the Year, and it's the seasonal festivals. And so the Wheel of the Year goes around and we follow them. We just had May Day on May 1st. We're going to be going into summer solstice after that. And often the pagans called it a wheel. I call it a spiral, because every year we kind of get this nudge to go deeper at certain times of the year. There's some people that really love to go deep in the winter. There's other people that like to go deeper in the fall. And for the Facebook people that are watching live on Facebook, my phone is going to die shortly. So if you'd like to continue onto this Facebook Live, please hop over to YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/homeschoolie, HOMESKOOLIE, and go into the homeschoolie, and I'm doing a live right now. So, but until then, I'll keep it going until it dies, and then it'll all be recorded on the YouTube. So there's this aspect of really needing to create intimate space. Oh, so the spiral. So with this spiral, it reminds us at certain times of the year, we might actually even remember, like, oh, last May I was here, I was doing this work. And I remember a May Day. It was 7 years ago. And this May Day, we were homesteading. No surprise at all that we are homesteading on a piece of property right now, okay? So 7 years ago, we were homesteading in the middle of the Southern California desert. Not a great place to homestead. There's no water. And I had started sprouts, and they were sprouting. And I woke up on May Day, and a mouse had eaten all of my sprouts. All of them. This was going to be our food. My husband came back later on that day and said that we were moving back up to our mountain house. We were going to find a home to live back in the mountain, and we were leaving our homesteading life behind. We were done. It wasn't sustainable. And I remember that moment every day, May Day since. And yet this May Day, speaking of that spiral, thanks, Kate. I look forward to it. Hey, Guyleen. Hey, Paul. Yet this May Day, we are in the most beautiful piece of property in central Illinois. The rain falls out of the sky more often than I've ever seen rain fall out of the sky, being from Southern California. My sprouts are growing. I've got a garden ready to transplant them in. It feels so sustainable. We have a bus that we've converted into a tiny home that is full solar, water, everything. And I'm just looking back at how much we've prepared and created from 7 years ago. So I would love for you to do this for yourself as well, to look back at maybe last May. How about 5 years ago in May? What about 7 years ago in May? And look back at maybe there's some repeating or repetitive things that keep happening. These things that are on repeat are really trying to get us to change and keep trying. I don't believe that failure is actually what we do as humans. I believe that failure is a form of learning. And when we look at life, I felt like I had failed that 7 years ago on May Day. And yet, when I look at it from the standpoint of today, I see that it was literally preparation for this moment. All the things that I had learned from the past 7 years were all coming and formulating into this moment for me to try it again, and to not try it again and get discouraged, but to try it again with excitement and anticipation and this renewed sense of joy. So I don't want to downplay this moment that we're all going through, this collective uncertainty that we're all feeling right now. I don't want to downplay that. So what I want to do is look at what opportunities we have to really get intimate with, not Intamins, we don't want some donuts. I mean, who doesn't want a good Intamin's donut? But really get intimate with ourselves, with get connected. Maybe you're going through something right now that kind of feels like you're failing at. I'd love for you to look back over the years. Have you gotten a little bit farther in it? Have things changed at all? Have you been able to set up new boundaries? Have you been able to communicate better? And if you're really feeling like you have been stuck in the same place or you need more support, this is why I am here. I really want to encourage you to reach out if this is something that you feel like you could need, that you could use more support in. I'm a holistic health practitioner, which means that I don't just make custom plant medicine for individuals, but I actually create an action plan through both modern and primitive uses. So if you've been on any of my other Facebook Lives, I do things like hypnosis and inner child work, which is neuro-linguistic programming. I do shamanic journeying. I work with energy and healing and chakras. So I've taken all of this and really integrated it into one. So if there's something in your spiral going on in your life where you're in this spiral and you keep getting the same repetitive circumstance, but nothing is changing, it's time to do some reprogramming. If you didn't see my YouTube live last week, I talked a lot about reprogramming our brains. Paul, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you jumped on. So again, if my phone dies, hop onto YouTube Homeschooly channel, or I'll put the recording in the link right here. So there's something really big happening on a global level. Never before have we shut down. We are a consumeristic, capitalistic, money is the main object of our society. We have never shut that down before. Okay? This is a big deal. This is a once in a century, a once in a lifetime experience. It's a once in our lifetime experience. And I think instead of pushing so hard against it because we want something to fight against, taking a breath and feeling is not what we want to do right now. And yet that's exactly what we're being called to do in a very real and big way. So I want to just lead you through this if you're willing to stay with me for a moment. I would love for you, if you're able, to close your eyes. And I want you to feel that pushing. There's this pushing against, like there's this force field around us, right? Like we're kind of caged in a way. And you can put your hands out if you need to and feel that. There's a definite boundary around us right now. I want you to feel that in a very physical way. And now I want you to feel, if you just take a moment and stop pushing so damn much and just take a breath. Take a breath with me. just get really here. Just right here. And feel whatever is bubbling up to the surface. If you want to open your eyes, you can. If you'd like to stay in that emotion, you can. If you have a piece of paper or a pen nearby, start writing it down. If you want to write it here and share, please do. If doing so in a Facebook Live doesn't feel safe, you can private messenger me. You can go into the Magical Mothering Facebook group. Does that feel different? Maybe just do a thumbs up or a thumbs down, something. Let me know, does that feel any different? There has been so much resistance to this whole thing. I get it. It sucks. I get it. It's different. I get it. I hear you. Okay? I hear you. But we really need to stop pushing against an opportunity so much. This is truly our opportunity to breathe, to get really present, to get centered, to stop with the fear, to stop. Like, it's time to really reprogram that. If you have been living in anxiety or fear or in your shadows or in repetitive circumstances, or every relationship you've had is the same relationship as the one you had with your mother or father, like, it's really time. And I really want you to reach out to me, because it's time. You're watching this because it's time to reprogram this, because this is the opportunity we've been waiting for. Dorothy, is saying, I can feel so much being done out of fear. I'm afraid because my job will come back. I'm afraid because, it just goes on, right? It's like, I'm so afraid of this and I'm afraid of that. And we've gotten ourselves into this resistance of living. We're so afraid of everything that we've stopped living. We put ourselves in front of a little black screen and we've stopped living, because whatever is out there has created so much fear and anxiety that we decide to just do this instead. Yes, it's hard because I can feel the collective fear too. Yeah, Dorothy, as an empath, of course. Paul, I just yesterday spent the day confronting some major things inside of me. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Mandy. Hey, Tammy. So there's a very real aspect happening of the entire collective consciousness. This is on a universal, multiversal aspect of really coming to a space of not living in fear anymore. Uncertainty doesn't have to be a fear maker. Uncertainty is the first step to creating intimacy. When we are uncertain, we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen when I come on here. I don't know what's going to happen when I share my heart with you. I don't know what is going to what transformation or not is going to happen because of these. And yet I have to step out of my own stuff, my own mess, into this uncertain space of being really vulnerable and allowing for intimacy to be created. Because I had to do it first within myself before I could ever connect with you. So Nancy is saying she feels like she's dying inside, and I stopped breathing. My son gives me fear. He's homeless, on drugs, because I stopped helping, and he forgets who I am. Yeah. And Nancy, there's this aspect, this cycle happening, right? There's people that are so dependent on you. And I remember when we first met, there is this cycle of, as a giver, as an overgiver, you want so badly. You want so badly to be their hope. You want to give that to them. but you have to give it to yourself first, love. And you've done so much work on it. But it's time to reprogram that in order to get love, or in order to be who you are, that it has to come to somebody else. It has to come to you first. So, yeah, Nancy, I know you lost your dad 3 years ago, and now I feel like he thinks he can give me fear like he did my dad. Yeah, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah, definitely. So yesterday was all about intimacy for me. Sorry to hear that, Nancy. Yeah, so Nancy, there's a cycle being repeated, and I almost believe that it was around this time, May, 3 years ago, that this whole cycle was happening. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like there's a cycle happening, and it's time to break that cycle. So boundaries, absolutely boundaries. So I can go into another live about boundaries and communication and things like that as well. But this is really today, this moment, I really want you to create a little bit of intimacy. Shut the damn phone off for just a little bit. I did it, and I realized I have to do it. I don't have enough self-control to pretend like I can not go on my phone. I just don't. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Nicole. I really don't. I don't have enough self-control to not scroll, to put it away. So I just have to shut it off and put it in a drawer. Homeschooling. HOMESKOOLIE. Just put in homeschooling in YouTube, and our channel will pop up, and the Facebook Live should pop up, I hope. Otherwise, I can do something like this and maybe share it to Facebook. Oh, look at technology does it for you. Isn't that so amazing? I'm going to put this. There you go. So I just shared the link to Facebook. Okay. There you go, Dorothy. Thank you. There's something very big happening in the intimacy realm of all of this. Because there is, our culture is so used to, for millennia, like literally this has been happening a very, 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 very long time. Emotions have been shut off. Because when you feel emotions and release them, they are not stored in the body. Okay? And I don't want to get too esoteric here. I really want to just stay facts. So when we have emotions that are stuck in the body and stored in the body, our body, until those emotions are released, our body will repeat situations, repeat behaviors that do not serve us at all, like really do not serve us at all. It will repeat behaviors and circumstances. It'll bring people into our lives that we're like, who are, like, you're the same. I just dated you, or I just had you in my life, or whatever, right? And no matter how much growth you think you've done, you're like, why am I doing this again? It's those stored emotions in our body. When those emotions get stored in the body for such a length of time, disease is caused in the body from stored emotions. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, Scott. Thanks for joining in. And so, hey, Miguel. Thanks for joining. Yeah, absolutely. I just divorced you. Right? Yeah. So there's this aspect of really needing to feel what is going on, and what, if you already have disease in the body, if you already have heart issues, if you already have hormonal issues, if you already have anxiety issues, please book a session with me, because these are already known areas in your body that plant medicine will help release the congestion in the body, help heal the disease in the body so that you can actually release from your body what is no longer serving you. Okay? And then if you'd like to go one step further and reprogram your brain so you stop attracting those same people, ideas, circumstances, experiences, then that's the next step as well. So you can do it either way. You can reprogram or plant medicine. Those are the two avenues that I know and work, and I have worked for many, many of my clients. So Nancy, thank you for confirming that. So it's really time to stop living life on repeat. That's kind of what my big, meltdown yesterday was. I was like, man, I fucking done so much work on this. We get to that point where I'm like, man, I really just have to stop grieving this and get over it. And if I'm not going to get over it, I better fucking reprogram my brain so that I stop attracting this. Like, as somebody who does the work, sometimes it's easier to help others because you're not in their situation. I'm sure you've heard this. Like, sometimes it's easier to help others help shift and change and reprogram than it is ourselves. But I realize that every time I go through and reprogram, shift, change my own structure, I'm able to help clients, my friends, my family shift and grow so much more. So there really comes a time when, Paul, I see you. Yes, I would love for you to do this. Please message me. If you are interested in reprogramming your brain, if you're interested in literally reprogramming the way you do life, if you need to see kind of testimonials or read experiences that other people have had, I have a few written down in my Magical Mothering Facebook page, Homeschooling Facebook page. If you talk to some of the people that are on here, there's real shift that happens. And now is the time. Now is the time. Awesome, Paul. So there's an aspect, so feeling the feelings, uncertainty being a gateway or a bridge to intimacy. And then there's this aspect of really kind of creating within ourselves the ability to be present. So I was talking a lot today about distraction. And yeah, Dorothy, you do have the tools. We may need to go a little bit deeper. A few years have gone by and we may need to jump in and create an action plan. Things change, lives change. If you reach out, okay? I'm here. I'm here. So, yeah, Diana's so cute. She's over here. I get to have a session here in a few minutes with Diana's son, so I'm pretty excited about that. So there's this aspect of distraction and not being centered. So you can find a space to do be centered. Yoga is a great stepping stone to do this. Meditation is sometimes a great stepping stone. Sometimes it can lead to feeling like a failure. Okay. I want to be really honest about some of these tools that are often put out there in a mainstream kind of a way. And they can make you feel like a failure. Dorothy took one of my programs a few years ago. And I know that there's been some struggle a little bit there. And some of my clients, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaches, and some of the things that they told me to do, I couldn't do. I didn't feel like I could reprogram myself in order to be out of integrity enough to do the things that they wanted me to do. So there are some things that you can always be reprogrammed to do anything, but you have to be able to look within and see if it's within integrity to yourself as well. So working with somebody who is not going to be reprogramming you for their agenda, I don't want to reprogram you to my agenda. I don't give a shit what you want to do, but I want you to be happy. So what is it? Finding what that happiness is, which is where a lot of the time the inner child work comes in. Because when we realize what our inner child, what our little child, what our like before 7-year-old really loved and was passionate about, usually we can find happiness again. Unless you had a very traumatic childhood, then we actually go back to your soul's essence, read your Akashic records, get into a place of really being who your soul has desired for you to be and become. Man, I'm so grateful, Paul. I'm so grateful you tapped in. Hey, Aaron, Nancy. Yeah, me too. I'm sorry for me and you, but God sent us to Stephanie. You know, I feel like we're all in the perfect, it might not feel perfect, but we really are in the perfect place at the perfect time, the perfect circumstances, and the perfect amount of uncertainty to say, fuck it. I've got to step out. I've got to do something different. Obviously, the whole world is like, oh, fuck. We didn't make something sustainable. Now we get to deal with it. So, as there is this aspect happening within us, there is big shifts happening. So it's really time to crack ourselves open, get into that space of vulnerability, and shift into a space of intimacy. So I'm looking forward to further connecting with you. If this has created a little bit of anticipation or excitement or curiosity, please reach out to me. I'm excited and eager to create more of this time with you. I want to give as much as I possibly can to everyone in a very generalized manner, but I don't necessarily feel like that is the best way to really create the most amount of transformation for each individual. Like I said, there's plant medicine. I've gathered almost 100 plants from all over the country that I mix and blend and create custom formulas for individuals, unique to those individuals. And then there's the aspect of going the other aspect of really creating space to reprogram the brain so it's not being done over and over again. Thank you, Diana. She said, I totally recommend Stephanie Matthews. She's just absolutely amazing. Thank you, Diana. So I'm going to let you go. I really appreciated and I really am so grateful for our time together. And I'm really excited to hear from you. So please post in the comments, post what is going on. If you felt that resistance when we were doing that exercise, if you'd like some more support, if you'd like more of an action plan of, creating your happiness, what is it that you are really ready to shift and change? Because life's just waiting to help you create that space. Nobody's going to do it for you. So if you'd like to reprogram your brain to make life happen for you, it's really quite a magical thing. So thanks for being here, and I will see you all soon. Bye.